What's up you guys, it's Krisping here, and today we're gonna talk about my two favorite games at the moment, Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty World War 2. But before we start, I just want to remind you to like the video if you enjoy it, because that will help me out a lot. Thank you in advance. So for those of you who haven't played Battlefield 1, they have a game mode called Operations, where you play through 2 or 3 maps in a row with an historical connection. Your objective is to either capture or defend the points on the map. Every map is cut up into 3 to 5 areas with 1 to 3 flags each. After one area has been captured, you advance to the next area on the map. War mode in COD World War 2 kinda plays out in a similar way. With objective put out over a larger map, after one objective is done you advance to the next one. These maps are also based in historical World War II battles. In this video I want to compare them both and kinda want to do a video rating which game made the best version of this kind of game mode. So the points for this will be split between 5 categories, going through what I think are the most important aspects of the game. Category number 1, objectives. When it comes to the objective on the map, Battlefield 1 only has one kind of objective, and those are flags or areas that you'll either have to defend or capture. This is still very fun and can of course give a variation of scenarios throughout the game depending on which map you're playing. Call of Duty World War 2 on the other hand has a couple more objectives. Some of them are also areas to be captured, like the first one on the beach in Normandy. Then there are some interesting, like building a bridge or fueling up a tank. It plays out pretty ordinary COD modes. The fueling of the tank feels a lot like capture the flag, and escorting the tanks feels a lot like the escort mode in Black Ops 3. But they are very fun and action-packed, and they have made a really good decision in not counting your deaths in it. Which makes it so that people focus more on the objectives than on their kill-death ratio. So when it comes to the objectives, the point goes to Call of Duty World War 2. Category number 2, options in gameplay. But even if there are a wider variety of objectives, there is a surprisingly low variety in gameplay. Most of the objectives pretty much plays out the same way due to the small map size and the Call of Duty meta. It normally just goes so that one team is storming the other and the other team tries to hold them off until the time limit is reached. There's not many options when it comes to flanking or trying to outsmart your enemies. And also there's a lot of invisible walls that limits the opportunity of running around or doing other entrances than just storming through the front door. I know that this may be due to the fact that a lot of COD fans is looking for fast gameplay where you don't have to think too much. Where you pretty much can rely on your reflexes and your reflexes alone. Battlefield has a lot more options in that regard, which could come from the fact that the matches are 32 versus 32. Because of the high player count, there is so much more that can happen. The squad system also does a lot in this. If you're playing with a group of friends, you can plan out your attacks so much better. You can have a sniper who spots people so that the support can clear the area with mortars, while the assault class and the engineer runs or drives up to the objectives with a tank. Or you could get a heavy bomber and fly over the objective while your squad mates parachutes down to get behind the enemy. Or you could try and spend the whole game in a missile boat trying to destroy the enemy's ironclad. That's what I do. So in this category, I will give the point to Battlefield 1. Category number 3, gameplay variety. So for the war mode in Call of Duty you have 3 operations, the snowy map, the bridge builder and Normandy. And they have some variety in gameplay. In the Normandy, you start by storming the beach where you get mowed down by machine guns. And then you proceed to the communication bunker where you have to destroy a bunch of machines. And after that you need to plant bombs on the enemy artillery cannons. It might sound like a lot of variety, but the problem from the last category makes it so that you're pretty much just storming bunkers in different parts of the map. Maybe it's more comparable to Battlefield's rush mode. The gameplay gets quite repetitive even if it can be quite fun at times. So when you're building the bridge on Operation Bob the Builder, it can get quite annoying after you played it a couple of times. The only thing you have to do as an attacker is to pop smokes over and over again and just rush the bridge. In Battlefield you have a lot of variety in gameplay, both due to the map size and the different part of the maps. If you take the map Rupture for an example, you start off in the trenches, where the defenders with MGs can be a big problem. The defenders can use mortars to blow you out, or maybe just use the SMGs or rifles to keep you out from the trenches. Later on you get to a bridge, but you don't have to build it, you have to capture it. The bridge can be destroyed like most other buildings in the game. When it gets destroyed, it will change the gameplay around it drastically. Just that levolution part of the game gives the game so much more in variety. Every house you run past can be destroyed in some way, and every door can be closed and locked to give you as a defender some extra time. The doors can be blown open as well. There is a lot you can do and it is very fun. It keeps me coming back 1.5 years after the game's release. So this point goes to Battlefield 1 once again. And then we have category 4, the maps. There are so many operations in Battlefield. Yes, I know they have had 3 DLCs, but even the base game had more operations than Call of Duty had war maps. The maps are based in many areas throughout the First World War. It has 1 base in Italy, some in France and Germany, and then there is now 2 based in Russia and 2 in the Ottoman Empire. This gives a lot of variation in gameplay and environment. In some operations you have to rely on your vehicles, like boats, tanks and planes. Some maps are purely based on infantry and some operations have both. Call of Duty on the other side is pretty much only based on the US versus the Nazis. The 3 maps has some variety in environment, but as I said earlier, they feel very repetitive after a short while. The fighting is as always in COD just based on infantry. If you don't count the tanks, that pretty much goes on rails. It would do a lot for the game if you were able to drive the tanks, but I don't know how that would work with the rest of the very linear gameplay. But yeah. There is 1 sunny map, 1 rainy map and 1 snowy map. That's what we have, sadly. So, there we have 3 to Battlefield and 1 to Call of Duty. So the last category will be gameplay time. In Call of Duty every game goes between 7 or 15 minutes, which is a good time if you're a casual gamer. And that is just what most gamers are. Battlefield 1 operations can take up to an hour, even more than that sometimes, which can make it so that a lot of people, especially if they are losing, won't finish the game. So in this case, I have to give the last point to Call of Duty World War II. So in the end, we have a score of 3 to Battlefield's operations and 2 to Call of Duty's war mode. I would recommend playing both of the game modes if you have the games, because they are both extremely enjoyable, and I hope that Sledgehammer's upcoming DLCs for World War II will add to the great experience that I've had with the war mode so far. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and please leave a comment down below if you have another opinion, or if you think I should have added another category, or taken a category away. Anyway, leave a like if you enjoyed the video as well, and subscribe if you want more videos on topics like this. Thank you for watching, have a nice day, goodbye.